So faith is a transformative power of, is the transformative power in shaping the pathways of our personal and professional success. My journey highlights the importance of faith-driven leadership in empowering, in overcoming adversity, finding purpose, and achieving my goals. And that's why I wanted to share it. So as you reflect on yours, think about what faith means in your life and how it allows you and guides you. But what does faith mean? Faith is a personal and deeply individual experience. It's about trusting in something bigger than ourselves, believing in a power greater than who we are. There's a few scriptures on faith that I've shared, and I'm not going to go through all, but as I mentioned, it's a personal belief in something bigger. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. That's a very popular one. That's one I know a lot of people can rattle off the top of their tongue. And I've mentioned a few of them. But it's not something earned. Faith is not something earned or achieved. It's a gift. And not something I want us all to take away. It's a gift. And so as you think about that, think about how we use that gift every day in our life, how we appreciate that gift every day in our life. Now, on the flip side, let's think about what is it to lead. Leading is a journey of influence, a path of inspiration and guidance. Leading is about shaping the future, empowering others, and fostering a shared vision. When we think about leadership, I reflect about people in scriptures that led. Who inspired you in the scriptures? I have a few. Who are your inspirational leaders in the scriptures? Or who are your just inspirational leaders, period? The image of a dog shepherd, I thought was interesting because anyone can lead. We all lead in some aspects of our lives. And I've mentioned a few scriptures again. The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Who leads? And how do you lead? Right? That's important. I reflect on that every day. Because we lead in all different aspects of our lives. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a friend, whether you're a son, whether you're a daughter, whether you're a manager, you're leading or you're being led. But we all lead in some aspect of our life. So the question is, how do you lead? Leadership is an important part of our lives at work, in our families, in our communities. We all lead in different ways and learn about good leadership. Learning about good leadership can help us be better in our roles. And one of the things I do is learn by examples of good leadership. I try to figure out what are those good examples of good leadership. I find that through scripture, of good examples of leadership through the scripture. I look at it in the workplace, good and bad. What are the leaders I don't want to follow? And what are the leaders I want to follow that exemplify the characteristics that embody something that I want, that I lead, I want to embody, and the ones that I don't. I equate leadership, when you think about it, in terms of a guide for a journey of life. This is one that I think about when I think of an analogy, right? When we think about, most of us can say we leverage a GPS. We use a GPS, and I equate this both for faith and both for leadership. When you jump into your car, I don't care if you have an old car, new car, we leverage a GPS, whether it's on a phone, it's built into the car. The GPS guides us. We plug in our destination, and we just trust that that GPS is going to get us to where we say we want to go. We trust that that GPS is going to avoid obstacles. It's going to allow us to stay on course. It's going to allow us to make the right decisions, give us options for detours, and give us the path that we need to take. It even tells us when we need to take a break, or gives us options where there's rest stops, when we need to recharge, when we need to take a break to eat, where there's a rest stop. It even helps us sometimes stop and gain perspectives. Of facing challenge, our faith provides strength when we encounter obstacles. This is similar when I think about a GPS. When we face obstacles, we don't know what obstacles lay ahead of us when we step into a vehicle and we start our journey. We don't know if there's a police stop where we can potentially get a ticket if we're speeding, if we're going above the speed limit. It will warn us. There's a speed trap ahead. It will warn us there's an accident. Take a detour. So I ask, who's your GPS that's leading you to your...
Good question, Candace.
Yes? Is there someone asking a question? So who's your GPS leading you through a life journey that helps you navigate the challenges, make decisions, and find your way?
The Lord.
I'm gonna go on mute.
I'm gonna say it's Ellis, by the way, guys. I'm gonna say, look, for me, I depend on the Lord to help me make those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Because life is, it presents super obstacles, and if we don't have I want to say a staff or to help us, to guide us, something that we can lean on, we tend to fail.
Exactly. And the question is that you depend on the Lord, and it's important to think about, yes, we depend on the Lord to guide our decisions, but the question when it comes to leading, it's how do we incorporate that in everyday leadership decision? How do you think about that when you have to lead? Because you have others that depend on you to make those leadership decisions. Do you incorporate God in those decision-making process? Do you bring him in to say, God, are these decisions the right decisions? What obstacles am I avoiding? Are those decisions the right decisions? Because I have people, whether it's family, whether it's community, whether it's a team, that's depending on me to make those right decisions. And how are we incorporating, and I'm saying we because I am including in that, as we think about our day-to-day responsibilities as we lead, incorporating through our faith, God, as you mentioned, into those day-to-day leadership decisions and helping us to ensure that we're avoiding those obstacles, those challenges, those detours, those decision makings, determining when there's breaks to be taking. I use the GPS as an analogy because those decision makings, if you think about that GPS, we encounter every day, all day. And it's not a one-time thing. It's a consistent daily thing that has to be incorporated in terms of how we lead and how we incorporate faith as part of our day-to-day lives in terms of our leadership, because we are entrusted by others who depend on us to incorporate that in how we lead. Because they depend on us to ensure that those decisions that we make, those pitfalls that we're avoiding, those rest stops that we're making, not only it's for us, but it's for them. It's for a collective. So we're entrusted for a collective decision. And if we're making those collective decisions on our own, by the fly, or if we are also incorporating that in the moments of our days, when those decisions arise, the point is, how are we doing that? How are we finding that in the moments of our days when those decisions have to be made? Like a GPS, an accident happens on the fly, a GPS will immediately pop up because it knows an accident happens. It will tell you on the fly a detour. How do we know as a leader, a decision has to be made? I have a team depending on me. I have a family depending on me. I have a community depending on me that I have to consult, not my own understanding. I have to consult an understanding of the one that leads me in those leadership decisions to ensure that those decisions are not of my own accord, but those decisions are the one that leads me so that I avoid the pitfalls, the obstacles, the ones that will make sure that those decisions are the right decisions. And the question is how do we do that and incorporate that, not just as a one-time thing, but is incorporated daily as part of how we operate, as how we do that in our everyday life, in the daily aspects of our life, as we move through the decision-making and the daily things that we encounter through our day-to-day. The other thing I wanted to bring up is we also have a place where we are also led. So who leads us? We operate in a place where we lead, but there's people that lead us. So how, I ask myself the question is, who leads the leaders? How do we know who leads them? I know who leads me, but how do I know who leads them? And I put this illustration here because it's something to consider. We are individuals. We know who lead us. We're in corporate. We're in organizations. We are in communities. We have faith and with God. So how do we go through understanding that we know who leads them? And we have to go and be led by faith. It's faith that allows us to know that we have to pray for those leaders, that they are led and the decisions that they make, because we are in the same position as we are making those decisions for those we lead. They are making those decisions for us, that they are consulted and God is leading them the same way that we are being looked at to consult the one who leads us to make the right decisions in the way that we are looking to be consulted. So I wanted to wrap up with just culminating that it starts with us. A journey for faith-driven leadership starts with each and every one of us making a conscious choice to lead with integrity and purpose.